Well, Eagle Auburn fans, we introduce to you now Auburn's new assistant softball coach, Scott Woodard, joins us. And welcome to Auburn. Glad to have you here. You've been able to settle in and get acclimated to Auburn, Alabama.
Obviously, a little bit of a transition between climate, schools, learning the Auburn way. One of the things we talk about is that we're all freshmen. All the players are freshmen, the coaching staff's freshmen. So just a learning experience, but we're all excited to be here.
You have a varied background as far as your coach. I mean, you've coached football, you've been a soccer coach, a softball coach, you've been an athletic director as well. I mean, you bring a wealth of experience to the position.
Probably one of the reasons I get to travel around with him now is that I do have a background in a lot of areas, including having my CDL in case I need to drive the bus for anybody. Some various maintenance levels of doing my own field. But, I've been very blessed. I think 32 years ago when I started this journey of college athletics as a player, I had an opportunity to play for the man when he first started. And my sister played for him his first softball job. So even though this is a family venture, I'm kind of family anyway. And, my experience is one of the best parts about the whole deal is I've been able to do a lot of different things at the college level. And, coaching's coaching. I knew that at the end of 25 years in New Mexico, I was going to go back on the field full time because I feel like this is what God put me on the earth to do, is to work with kids.
Talk about playing for Clint Meyers, both you and your sister, as you mentioned.
Obviously, he's changed a little bit. I think experience and age obviously helps you get a better understanding. Still a teacher, a great teacher. He was a great teacher when I played for him. I think that's what we thrive on, is being teachers. He knows how to get the best out of kids. Yeah. He wants you to be great at everything you do. Our mantra with our program is greatness is a way of life. So we expect that to be in all facets, on the field and off the field. And, I had the opportunity to be able to do a lot of things, and part of it is just because, I was in a situation where I knew hard work, do things correctly, loyalty, things like that. And, the opportunity to coach 3 different college sports, it's been great. And I think, it started out on the baseball side, obviously, and kind of ventured into a dual role with football because I was at such a small school. Right. And they dropped the baseball program on me, and so I was kind of caught with what am I going to do now? And Title IX was becoming big, and they dropped softball at the same time. So I was like, well, let's bring softball back. Yeah. And so just an opportunity to do a lot of different things. But, to me, the coaching piece is still about getting kids to do what you want. And, the opportunity to be able to do it with 3 different sports has been a great deal.
As an assistant coach with Coach Meyers at Arizona State, what was your role there, and has it changed at all now as an assistant coach at Auburn?
I would like to say it's changed, but it probably hasn't. I had an opportunity there to take 100% of the recruiting. Like he said, I had 99.9 because at any point in time, if he wanted somebody, he was going to have the right to revoke my privileges and take them. But I felt like here, because it's more of the family group, with the 3 of them, that, it would be more important for them to decide on player personnel, so that they weren't sitting around the dinner table asking what in the heck I was doing about recruiting certain players. The on-the-field stuff, I think part of that still remains to be seen. I know I'm going to be working with the offense with Casey a lot. Defensively, I usually stay in the outfield and let those guys work with the catchers and the infielders. Yeah. And then game day, it'll depend. I coached first base the last couple of years, but we're even talking about possibly putting coach in the dugout. And it's just an opportunity to be able, one thing we do is we just coach. And so some days I'll be with the pitchers, and other days I'll be doing different things.
You've touched upon it, but if maybe go in a little more detail about player development and taking that star athlete from the high school level and then molding them into a top-notch collegiate player as well.
Again, I think what we do better than anybody else in the country is we teach. And we're a why group. When we teach things to kids, we teach them why we want them to do it that way, which is probably a little different in society where it's just do this because I tell you to.
Right.
So at the end of the day, when we're teaching a concept, we expect them to be able to know it because we've communicated back and forth to a degree where they understand why. And then when we do our camps, we ask them to teach it to the younger kids, to the campers, so that, again, it reinforces their ability to be able to retain that information and not just do it this way because this is the way we told you to do it because we know it works. So I think that's our greatest asset. Obviously it takes great kids to be able to make champions. You know, you're not going to get championships without great players, and so the recruiting ties into that, obviously, to be able to take those kids and continue to move them up the level to where they can compete at the national level.
Has the coaching staff sensed the excitement around Auburn softball?
We're here. These kids are starving for success. They're wanting to push so hard right now that, you know, we're having toe the reins in a little bit and say, slow down. You know, we got some time. Right. Obviously, we're all excited. We know the community's excited, and rightly so. You know, we feel like we're bringing a great product to the field, and you know, we expect people to be happy when they leave the stadium that, you know, we've put a good product on the field, and we're not going to be happy until we can get to that point.
War Eagle, welcome to Auburn.
War
Looking
Eagle,
forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Auburn assistant coach Scott Woodard. I'm Andy Burcham for AuburnTigers.com.